Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to Triagical Thinking, the show that uploads a lot more than the amount of good decisions the president has made. And it is phenomenal regarding what is to be found out there in the vast expanse of space. If only man could perceive things in 3 dimensions instead of through a telescope, would knowledge seem limitless. And of course, that's enough for us human beings. And no, I'm not here to babble on about the possibility of making better space exploration stuff. We have NASA wasting their time with that. No, I'm here to propose an idea whose origins are able to be observed within the confines of Earth. Elements. And furthermore, the atoms of said elements. I wish to propound and explore upon the possibilities of making current synthetic atoms stable, and with that, the possibility of having more atoms, those of which are also stable. Now, what does this have to do with the universe? I believe if man were to carry out the steps about to be described, more would be understood about it. Rules of bindings, expulsions, and even the discovery of smaller parts of matter is imminent here. Now, what does this have to do with any contemporary dire issues on Earth as of now? Who's to know? But I digress. Before one is able to expound upon such possibilities, I must discuss what humanity has already claimed in terms of intelligence.
For starters, there are elements that consist of different combinations within each of their atoms. Within these atoms lie subatomic particles. Protons, which are positively charged, neutrons, which are not charged, and electrons, which are negatively charged. Electrons are significantly smaller than the other two mentioned. A certain arrangement of these produces an atom, with protons amassing in the center with neutrons, and electrons orbiting around the nucleus. Different elements have differing amounts of these particles, and there is roughly the same amount of every subatomic particle in a given element, and of course roughly is to be considered lenient. This applies until about polonium, where most of the following elements are radioactive. This is because the elements are too heavy, consisting of bunches of unstable protons. And this proclaims the issue being challenged here. Is there a way to make currently radioactive elements stable? Well, dear viewers, the following is to satiate your curious human mind. It is said by science that radioactivity is caused by the lack of something called subatomic binding force. When one refers back to the part regarding the nucleus of an atom, a mental flag should have hoisted. Similar charges repel, and dissimilar charges attract. Therefore, why do the protons not fly away from each other? They do not succumb to that law because of binding force, which is one of the forces of nature. Binding force consists of the negation of said presumed repulsion by applying strong force, another natural force. Without proportional binding force, an atom radiates until A, the force has become proportional, and or B, an entirely new element is formed due to alpha radiation. So, how does one add more binding force? This is where particle accelerators come in. As of this document, accelerators can only achieve close to the speed of light. Those of you who have forgotten, light travels at 186,000 miles per second. As theorized by Einstein, the reason man cannot accelerate anything with mass to light speed is because when more energy is added to mass, it becomes effectively larger, thus slowing it down. Such correlation is demonstrated with E equals mc squared. However, even though such a brilliant equation disproves any notion of faster particle accelerators, it provides an answer to adding binding force. Energy equals mass times the speed of light squared, equates energy to mass, and this is easily perceived that mass turns into energy, for example, atomic bombs. They are very dangerous, and, it's the splitting of the atom which creates a lot of energy. But if the said equation is true, then energy can be converted to mass. One of the only defined ways of this is use of gamma-ray photons. These photons are special in the sense that they have no rest mass, and they are able to convert to mass if paired. They translate to an electron-positron pair. And it is through this that humanity may be able to stabilize and or make more elements. A great possibility of adding binding force protrudes from that very fact. Such force may be applied by the further acceleration of particles to the speed of light. By either converting the particle source to, or just adding gamma rays, sped substances could collide with targets at light speed. That doesn't seem quite right, the dear viewer may interject. Light smashing into target is only going to relay harmful radiation. Yes, and this is why gamma-ray photons fired along with the particles will convert to having mass just as impact is made. This way, mass is the one colliding with the maintenance of light speed. Now, this is deemed difficult to do in circular particle accelerators. I'm sure you can see how. It's a curved track and it's just a whole mess of impossibility. However, this can and is easily done in linear accelerators, that is, aiming trajectory. Well, one is not just able to convert atoms to photons. This is true. The technology for such does not exist. That is why adding electron-positron or gamma-ray pairs is all humanity has now. Still, even with this lesser method, more binding force is to be added to the final result of impact.
What you, dear viewers, may be thinking is whether this matters. It certainly does. Recall the beginning, where laws and such were mentioned. If the above steps were carried out, more about the universe and its defined laws would be exposed. Such theorem may not even work. Something may go horribly wrong, nothing fatal, of course. But at least the most powerful thing a person can harness would be tangible. That is, intelligence. So, what should you do? Go out there and do the impossible. If you have the knowledge, certainly carry out this deed. If you prefer other areas, do not shy away. Innovation does not happen naturally, and that is a law. It happens with you. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, that's just thinking triagically.